I feel compelled to reprimand you since I am older than you. Around the end of 1970 or the beginning of 1980, silver was selling for $50 per ounce. Those Hunt brothers, you may recall. Do the stories ring a bell? The Hunt brothers were extremely wealthy because they were descendants of H.L. Hunt, a Texas oil magnate who was once considered the wealthiest man in the world. As for the Hunt brothers, they were conservative Christians who were very devoted. According to their interpretation of the Bible, silver should be valued at the same level as gold. On top of that, they were literate. They could pull out the Wall Street Journal and exclaim, "Oh my God," which made them continue buying. A lot of capital and profit was available to them. Consequently, they persisted in purchasing until the regulations were altered in the pits in Chicago, rendering the Hunt brothers unable to satisfy the margin calls any longer. As a result, the silver price fell precipitously, plunging into a terrible bear market. That, however, occurred far in the past. Although silver has returned to that price once since then, gold has not. The metal silver is mine to keep. My prediction is that it will return there at some point. Time is uncertain to me. To discover the exact time, I will need to tune into your show. However, I am certain that silver will reach new heights in due time, perhaps even gold. However, I will not be purchasing gold at this time. Historically speaking, silver is fairly depressed, so I am purchasing it. Both will be successful though, because we live in a society where money can be printed with relative ease. Keep it in mind. 106 to 3 or 1. Well, most paper currency in 2026, 2020 will be in a precarious situation due to the lack of restrictions. The idea of a sound money would never be uttered by any national bank. Even before he finished his speech, he would be fired from his job that day. And that is where the issue resides. In any case, that is why I am a gold and silver owner. When the chance comes, I hope I'm astute enough to purchase further. What I just stated isn't acceptable, Jimmy. Seriously, I despise it. I, however, gaze out the window. That is the truth. Would you advise me to liquidate my gold and silver holdings? Like everyone else, I read the same newspaper every day. I fail to perceive any rationale for parting with my precious metals. AM to PM, I am not ready just yet, at least not in the papers I usually peruse. It is my knowledge that numerous governments over the globe hold the view that they are entitled to accomplish practically whatever they like. If you want to know what's going on in the middle of the country or in Washington, D.C., you can look there. In their minds, everything is fine. They would tell you not to worry if you read Washington. Nothing should concern you. We have an excess of firearms. What we want to do is up to us. And I'll be very concerned so long as they believe they can do anything they want, particularly in light of what I've seen about the globe. Now more than ever, many people own numerous firearms. Lots of people are currently in deep financial debt. And the markets don't seem to mind either. Everyone seems happy in Asia and the rest of the world as I gaze out the window. 403 to 416. I say it again. Someone should ask questions when everyone is pleased. All these indications of weakness can actually be seen as bullish at times. In other words, if things are terrible, they can only get better. Duration? 417 to 424. So let's all just go ahead and buy. I do not hold that opinion. I will not partake in the buying frenzy. From 424 to 701. Absolutely not. Many global markets are, in my opinion, reaching record highs. And I'll say it again, I think someone should ask questions even when everyone is happy. The only markets I'm familiar of that aren't currently skyrocketing are one or two. China was brought up. Uzbekistan is another country I'll talk about because it's where I have shares and where I made a recent purchase. The majority of global markets, however, have been rising since 2009. There have been 16 years, Jim. Wow, that's quite a while. A record-breaking length in US history. For all we know, it might continue indefinitely. Rest assured, Mr. Trump will assure you, everything is being handled by him. Even when Mr. Trump reassures me, my anxiety grows. So I'm hoping it will continue indefinitely, though I seriously doubt it. So far, it hasn't. I have a question for you or a point to make on that. Perhaps things are different now that governments and central banks all over the globe are keeping money flowing into the system. Additionally, regional banks in the United States always seem to be a source of trouble, as was the case in 2022 to 2023. The Federal Reserve stepped in immediately after the failure of Silicon Valley Bank and two or three others, injecting billions, if not trillions, of dollars into the economy. Also, no problems whatsoever. Is this just going to keep on continuing and the market might never recover, in your opinion? Alternatively, if we observe a reversal, such as in April and May, it presents a tremendous opportunity to purchase. You did say that it could be different this time, though. No, that's what they've always done. Over the course of my career, I've witnessed central banks around the globe doing nothing but printing money, flooding the system with additional funds, saving my job, saving my work. They show zero concern for the system. Their job security is a top priority, and they're doing it once more. As far as I'm concerned, that is identical. I should clarify that this has been their practice from the very beginning, or rather since the inception of central banks. For the sake of argument, let's pretend they keep doing it while insisting it's different. At this point, the situation is manageable. No need to fret. At this point, everything is well, and things are different. 7 o'clock to 7:46. My advice is to become exceedingly concerned in the event that they make such a claim, which they will do if they haven't already. I mean, I've seen this film previously, so I know. The ending of this film seems familiar to me, and every time I can tell you it has ended in disaster. Once again, I can predict that it will end poorly. The thing is, I already know that your show is going to finish. The only way for me to find out when is to watch it. When you tell us when, we'll all do what you say. Half 60 or 70% declines are par for the course in a typical bear market. Occasionally, and there are equities that fall by 90%. Between the timestamps 7:46 and 9:34. It is common for the tall blossoms to descend even further. Therefore, I can state categorically that the next US bear market will have a 70% decline. Even though I'm older than you, I can assure you that this will be the most horrifying experience of your life. This is the worst thing that has ever happened to you since it has gone on without a hitch for the greatest period of time. Plus, depending on who you ask, the problem is getting worse as it gets more and more stretched out. Which one is worst, in my opinion? Do not be concerned. Alan Greenspan and the like will assure you of this. Nothing is out of our hands. Does Alan Greenspan still ring a bell? He's no longer working there, but I have faith that he'll be able to reassure you if you give him a call. There is complete mastery. He will still tell others that, regardless of whether you contact him or not. Oh my God, you must be scared if you called him, but he would just hang up and call someone else. Just assure him that everything is fine, and he won't have to worry. He will assert that we have everything under control. You will also receive a raise and a promotion from me. Also, Jim, I didn't mean pull back when I said that the S&P 500 might fall by 70% in the stock market. The bear market, as I predicted, would occur. I see. I apologize. In a downturn or bear market, maybe I'm having an impact. I see. However, you are implying that you anticipate a 70% decline from the Nasdaq or the S&P 500's all-time highs, 10:07 to 9:34. I understand. It always has, I told you, Jimmy. Perhaps things are different now. How wonderful, perhaps, Mr. Greenspan is on the money. This time, it's unique. No need to fret. That 70% drop will never happen again. It has always done this, though, and I will say it again. According to Mr. Greenspan, this time is different. No need to fret. Even while I wish everything were different, I can assure you that it is not. From 10:08 to 10:42. This has occurred time and time again, and it will occur during the next down market as well. I say it in part because the current level of the US debt is absolutely staggering. US debt continues to rise, making it the world's greatest debtor nation. Consequently, what makes a bad bear market possible? Perhaps I am mistaken now. Perhaps the head of the central bank is correct. The issue has been resolved. Yet I stress again, that is what has transpired in the past. The transcription was performed by TurboScribe.ai. To get rid of this message, go for unlimited.